And even if it is a more competitive series in game one, this is why I'm already going back on my pick. Is because how locked in, and we've been talking about it. You and I have been talking about it. We talked about it with Chris Haynes, talked about it with Vinny Goodwill, how locked in LeBron is right now. LeBron's on some Cobra Kai right now. LeBron's on some sweep the leg, okay? He's on some sweep the leg stuff right now. And speaking of snakes, the Mamba mentality that we know he had already adopted and possesses in his own right, coupled with a killer instinct. You know, one of the things I can't stand is when they try to compare LeBron to Kobe or Michael Jordan. For the longest time, and even now, and we'll talk about Kyrie stuff later on, that C word, right? But for the longest time, man, people would talk about like, oh, he's not a killer. You know, LeBron ain't a killer like Mike. LeBron's not a killer. I'll be damned. I'll be damned if he have a killer instinct. He out here killing all the fun. End of the game, Lakers celebrating, enjoying it. He like, nah, settle down. Settle down. This ain't over. And I love after the game, Gary, do we have that shot or nah? We have that shot?
Look at that. Fancy words. Fancy word. What? Tell the people,
all right.
What's a shot?
Check out
what's a shot?
This is in the back of LeBron's mind when he's telling everybody, hey, it's not over. Stop celebrating. Job ain't done. This is in the back of LeBron's mind. Roll it.
The best teacher in life is experience, and I've experienced moments in my career, finals games, where you had all the momentum in the world, and you felt like you had the game under control. One play here or one play there could change the course of a series or change the course of a game. And one in particular that always rings home for me is Game 2 of the 2011 Finals in Miami versus Dallas. D. Wade hits a three right by that bench. I believe put us up either 13 or 17. And from that moment on, Dallas went on a hell of a run and finish it off with a Dirk Nowitzki left-hand layup to steal that game. That burns me to this day.
To quote that queen, Stephanie Mills, experience is a good teacher, and it takes someone like me to know. That is Stephanie Mills, right? I'm in love under new management. I mean, LeBron is not playing games right now. And no matter how many people think that he's the favorite, no matter how many people think that this should be a short series and that the Heat are just some scrappy underdogs and the Lakers are top heavy, the two best players. He's like, I remember feeling like we had a series under control, only for it to devolve into one of the darkest chapters, if not the low point of his career.
Right.
His personal collapse against Dallas. So, man, I'm looking at that combined with the injuries, combined with the Anthony Davis, LeBron James tandem. And I'm saying, all right, man, cancel Christmas. It was fun, Miami. It was a fun ride, Miami, but the king ain't letting this. You said it. You told me. You told me he was not about to let this happen.
No way.
He was not.
No way. Not
you said he can't lose to Miami.
Cannot.
That's what you told me.
He cannot. He cannot lose. He will not lose the series. By the way, boys and girls, a shot is sound on tape. It's an old school term, really. It's old school because it's no tape.
They don't even use tape anymore. Yeah.
Not actually tape. But we just like to tell you all the TV terms. Here's the other thing, Mike. How about that memory? It's like 9 years ago, 2011. D. Wade hits a shot in front of their bench to put us up. I think it actually put about 15. And then to make it even worse, Wade makes the shot and says, it's over. He said that to their bench.
Which Anthony Davis did last night. I don't know if Anthony was talking about the game on a series, but he mouthed it last night,
He was right. No, but I just think we're talking about these matchups. All right, how about the LeBron matchup? Okay, let's just talk about that. Matching up with Anthony Davis is one thing. So I know Miami is really going to struggle with that. Like all their big men, you got a hurt Bam, so he's probably out. Kelly Olynyk. Like who do you really have? Who do you really have that's going to challenge?
Yeah.
Anthony Davis. So we know you messed up there, but this version of LeBron, this guy who is willing to, okay, I'll get my points eventually. I'm trying to get you guys going here. I'm gonna get my assist game going. I'm gonna get my board game going, and then late in the game, I'm gonna put in my points.
Yeah,
it's
I'm
amazing.
gonna eat now. Yeah.
I told you this. I may have told you the story years ago. I was doing a book with Terry Francona, the former manager of the Red Sox. And as you guys know, he was Michael Jordan's minor league manager in Birmingham with the Birmingham Barons. And he said just to blow his mind, sitting there talking basketball with Jordan. He was like, hey, Jordan, like, why'd you retire, man? Like, what's going on? He was like, yeah, I can go back to basketball. I mean, look, it really comes down to this. This is what he told Francona. It really comes down to this. Man, I get my 8 points a quarter, and that's 32.
Yeah, 8. Yeah.
And
He's not going to do that anytime I want. Yeah.
I mean, hey, don't make it sound so easy, but it is easy. It was easy for
people
Jordan,
like that. It is.
And it's easy for LeBron, too. But I just want to say this. I've been thinking about this all week, and I'm glad you mentioned it up, this whole killer instinct for LeBron, the mental toughness for LeBron. I think it's so easy for us to forget that Michael Jordan, watching The Last Dance, remember when Jordan was there in the hotel room, he's like, when this is over, I'm good. I've had enough. I don't need to deal with this. I can't leave my room. I can't do this. I got so much. I don't really, my life is not my own, essentially. But that was in 1998? That was in 1998. So there was no Facebook. There was no TMZ. There was no Twitter. You barely had, people still didn't know how to, people still didn't know how to work the internet. I know newspaper journalists didn't. Yeah. They were late to that party. So, look, imagine LeBron, to be in the public eye since you were a teenager, to come into the league with expectations, not only to meet the expectations, but to exceed them. You don't think that's, did you get some credit for that? Isn't that a degree 100%. Of mental toughness?
100%,
so I think
100%.
I think that's so overstated when it comes to LeBron. And I do want to say this before we move on. I'm not gloating yet. I will gloat soon. I'll probably gloat.
I'm not ready to move though. Make this point, but I'm not ready to move though. But go ahead.
All right, no, I'm not gonna make a turn. I'm gonna give you a bounce pass right back to you. Bounce pass back to you.
Okay.
My point is a turning point.
Okay. Well, I want to stay on the experience. Is the best teacher, because I personally relate to that in many respects, especially over the last couple of years. Like that was like LeBron. The thing I like about not just LeBron, but a lot of these press conferences, but specifically LeBron and the mentality, when you listen to LeBron and even go back and listen to Kobe and some of the philosophy that they're dropping, whether you're picking it up or not, they're dropping philosophy in their press conferences. Think about, let's stop and recognize that the moment that, and at the time, felt like it was going to ruin LeBron or break LeBron, melting down against the Mavericks actually made LeBron. Like even just for me personally in the last couple of years, trying to navigate even my career, my personal journey and being like, well, why is this happening? Or why am I going through this? Or why am I dealing with that? Or, okay, this is the next move. Well, wait a second. I know that's not the next move. It's another move. And okay, now I'm on startup number 3. You know what I mean? Okay, so all that happened to get me here. Everything that happened was to get me here. I know my steps are ordered, but man, okay, this is to mold me and craft me and educate me and get my mind and my spirit to a place to prepare me for the rest of this journey, right? And so for LeBron, it's like, oh, wait a second. All right. So he looks awful against Miami. The moment's too big for him, or so we thought. Comes up small in the finals. We know that he went on to win the next 2. We know that he went on to deliver one to Cleveland. Looks like he's about to deliver one to LA. And in this moment, he's saying that experience prepared me to do what I'm about to do. We may not have this LeBron. He may not be the killer that he is right now if he hadn't gotten wounded in 2011. And I think about just all experience is good experience. Somebody told me that all experience is good experience. So even if you're going through something right now that just feel like you're in the valley, it's like there are no mountaintops without valleys. You know, and so like if you know, can I turn to your neighbor and say there are no mountaintops without valleys? tell somebody.
Nudge your neighbor and say.
Say neighbor.
Neighbor.
I was moved by that. I was moved by that because I'm like, damn, I feel that because that was his low point.
Yep.
But it prepared him for this, and who knows what more.
Yeah, it's good, Mike. And I think you're right. I mean, it's Dallas. It's the bad fourth quarter. It's really it's probably like three parts of three different seasons or three episodes. If you look at LeBron, like three distinct episodes. Before we get to that finals, it's the decision, right? It's the criticism from that. It's the first time in his career. 7 years into his career, it's almost like, hey, LeBron James, oh, he's so great, he's amazing, all this stuff. And then it's the first profound, sustained criticism of his career. Now, that sounds okay, that's not really a big deal. A lot of professional athletes haven't gone through that at a sustained level, at a high level. The high-level athlete is so used to the adoration. But to have a nation against you outside of Miami for an entire year, okay, that'll change your perspective. The decision, as you pointed out, the fourth quarters against the Mavericks, the loss to the Mavericks, and then, and we talked about this before, remember, down 3-2 to the Celtics.
Yeah.
Before that first championship, so they're down 3-2.
Right.
And it seems
really
like ancient history, but people were dancing. You want to do some church?
Yeah.
You go in church on this? We had praise dances going on. People were hiking it up, going around because Miami was about to fall on its face to the Celtics, and they're going to Boston Garden. LeBron torches them.
So no, and then you got Jordan.
Yep, and that led to the first of two championships.
So Jordan said the shot in 82 against Boston, and I know we got to go to break here, but Jordan said the shot in 82, not against Boston, sorry, against Georgetown. That propelled him moving forward. Like, once I made that one, I knew I could always go back to that. Even if I missed, I could always go back to that moment where I made it to give me the confidence to take those shots. But then Kobe, mentioned him, Kobe talked about Utah. Kobe isn't Kobe without experiencing that quote-unquote failure against Utah. That he built on that. So, do you want to make that quick point that I stopped you from, or you want to take this break? Because we got company.
Now, listen, Rev.
You want to take this?
Listen, Rev. You gave us some good preaching, and so no, I'm just
kind of runs in the family.
Reverend Smith, you touched my soul. So,
and you got sense enough not to preach after the pastor's finished. Nothing bothers me more. Usually it's the pastor that's guilty of it. The guest preacher will preach, and then the pastor got to give a sermon like, dog, let that live. Just let that be that. And just do the benediction, let's go home.
They say, after this, I'm going to take my seat, and then like 20 minutes later, as I go to my seat, man, you said that
as I close.
As I hurry to close.
Yeah, right.